first thing you need to do is come over here and disconnect the battery. It is underneath the driver's seat down here in between the gas tank and the frame. After that, you can get your 8mm and remove this cover. All you have to do is take out the one side fairing bolt and pull the fairing back. Alright, you go to the right hand side of the bike and remove the starter. The starter will actually be put in here reverse, so the starter won't be outside where you can access it. You'll have to take this cover off, this small cover, and then this large cover will come off after. So you need to first remove your clutch cable, and then this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, and pull this off. And you have to take a gear out, and then you can take the rest of the cover off and remove that gear and this whole entire assembly, and then you can take the starter off, and it'll have two bolts in the back, that being one and one behind it, and then you remove the starter power wire. So I'm about to show you that. Some of these bolts are longer than other ones, so just make sure you keep the place they go. Usually the longer ones have to go through both of the covers, so they're longer, but the ones that just go through the single cover are shorter ones. Just keep that in mind. Alright, now you'll remove this cover, and it will have this gear that you have to remove out of this hole. Mine came out in the cover, but sometimes it will stay in the motor. I'll show you. Like this, and it is keyed, so it has a key right here that will line up with this keyway, so you can't get it wrong. But sometimes it'll stay in the engine connected to the starter like this, and this is what you have to remove to remove the starter. So this is the whole reason why you're taking this little cover off. You can just set it back in here as it goes, and make sure you line it up with the keyway mark to get it back in on installation. Alright, now all you do is remove the rest of the bolts from this cover. And one more. Alright, now this cover will come off. Once this covers off, it has another gear like this. This might come off, but you can just leave it in place. It interlocks into this gear like this. So just make sure it's in all the way. It also has a key, this key right here. Make sure the key is lined up with the keyway mark. You put it back together like this. Alright, so this, and then slides in. Alright, as for the starter, now I've already removed the 110mm nut that takes the power to the starter off. Make sure you disconnect your battery or you're gonna get a little spark. Then there's two bolts behind the starter that go in the starter. Now I've already removed it because it's very hard to see with the starter in place because it's going to look like this. But both of those bolts go right there, and the starter will actually be in place, held in place after you take that cover off. It will not come off. So make sure you remove both of these bolts. Will be in the back of the starter, like that. Will be two right there. So remove those with your 8mm socket, maybe a ratcheting wrench, because you're going to be in there real tight. Alright, and then on the starter, you have to remove these two bolts to disassemble the starter, and I'll show you that in a moment. Alright, now that you have your starter out, I want to show you how to rebuild it and what's usually the problem with the starters. Alright, so you take your starter here. It has one bolt that holds, or one nut that holds everything in through the top. You take this nut off and you will have a washer, like another washer. These three washers are made out of fiberglass or something, some kind of composite. You have a metal washer on the top and then your nut. Make sure you keep those in that order. Alright, then the only other two bolts you need to take out is use a 6mm and it's a 7. Almost burned my hand there. Let's see here. Alright, so you use your 7mm and remove these two long bolts that go all the way through the body of the starter. And let me get an extension. Now I've already taken this one apart. I'm just figured you guys would want to see this part, so I actually put it all back together with a new part in it to show you in case you wanted to rebuild your starter also. So I was just gonna do a replacement video, but this will save you hundreds of dollars, seeing as how most of 99% of the starters, this is the problem. And new starters are $300 or $400, and this part's only a $26 fix. I'll link the part. It all comes assembled too. So you remove these two long bolts. Then you can just disassemble the starter. Now wiggle it and this case will come off. They have washers behind them, so make sure you keep them in place. So here's another one of those gaskets and washers. I'm just going to leave this on there, and then I'll push it back a little bit and take the rear case off. Here goes another washer. Alright, and then we'll push the body out of the housing. Alright, so nothing looks damaged on here. You want to take, if you're missing chunks of any of this, your starter is bad, obviously. But you're just going to take some sandpaper 2000 grit or maybe green Scotch-Brite pad and rub all this black off. Get it shiny again. You want to clean the inside of all the cases with some brake cleaner. And usually this is the problem, so I'll show you right here. This part will come out of that hole. Sure. That's why you took all those washers off. Anyways, these brushes usually go bad. You'll see that your brushes will look like pushed in like this because they're worn out and there's nothing left to touch this part and start your, that's the contact to start your bike. So if these don't touch this, you know you got a bad starter. That's your problem. And you can usually tell by, see all that dust in there, all that black? It's that's actually these brushes that have been worn down. And that was the problem with mine. I paid, this part came assembled like this with these bolts and this washers for $26, I think, from Kawasaki. Saves me having to buy a $300 starter basically. So all you need to do is get some brake parts cleaner and spray these parts out. Clean them out a little bit. It's gonna get messy, so do it in a place you don't mind getting dirty. That's why I put a little paper towel down. Alright, now the body. This body's a little dirty. Now this is very magnetic, so you want to make sure you don't get any bolts or anything stuck in this, but you can just put it back together like it was. I'm going to get a paper towel and wipe it out. So after you've wiped your starter body out with a rag, got all that dirt out, now it looks fresh and clean. Just, you can start reassembly. So let me get that scotch. Here's what you want to do to the commutator, which is this part. You want to just rub it with your household Scotch-Brite pad or 2000 grit sandpaper and clean it up so it makes a good contact. You see how it's starting to get brighter? The only reason you would replace this part is if chunks are broken out of this. If it's missing a section, you have to buy a whole new starter. Other than that, you can keep using it. I mean, these parts really don't go bad. There you go. It only takes a little scuffing. Just make sure you put it back together the way it came. I'll put it back together now. It's a very strong magnet in here, so you want to hold it when you put it in, pull itself right into place. All right. As for your new parts, they'll go in like you took them apart, and they go in backwards. Now there's two holes right here. These bolt holes will align with this, and this stud will feed through and pull up into here. So make sure all the holes, let me see if I can get a light better so you can see that. Alright, now you see that there's holes on both sides, and the stud will go through here. Make sure you pull that stud all the way through. Alright, there you go. Went right through. Alright, now I'm gonna put my two washers right there, then my bigger washer, and my metal one, and this one, and lock it all down so it doesn't move. Alright, then when you put the two bolts back through the body, they'll actually thread into these two holes. Now all you have to do, alright, so when installing this commutator and these brushes, it's going to be bigger, so it's not going to fit. So you want to push it in at an angle. So this is at an angle, and push it back. So you depress both of these brushes at the same time. So what you're looking to do is to put this part over here and then push it in and line this back piece up with the hole right here. So I'll show you. Make sure you put your washer back into place. Alright, so here we go. Put it in an angle, pushing them in, and finding where the hole is. There it goes. Now as for the body placement, it can only go in one way, and it'll fall into place, you'll see. So let's see here. backwards. See? It's idiot proof. You can only do it one way. Alright, let's try that again. Let's depress these cases. And now it fits. There's spots on the body, key marks. That key mark lines up there. And that should be it. These two key marks line up together. So I'm going to put my washer back in on the top. And we're going to try to line these two holes up with those two holes. So that's what I'm doing. It'll only fit on one way too. Alright. Let's check down in there. Now we're going to put our two long bolts back in the body and tighten everything up. And you have now rebuilt your starter and saved yourself $300 basically. I'll probably show you how to reinstall everything, but I won't talk during any of it. I don't know if I'm going to put any of this in the video, to tell you the truth. But here I go. Alright, you've got a fresh rebuilt starter. Alright, for this I'm just gonna tell you what to do and put little clips of it in, so my 3 followers will know what to do. So your starter wire, obviously it goes back on this, so use your 10mm and loosen that and put your power attachment back on this wire. I'll show you. Here we go. Let's see if I can like this. I want to tighten it this way. Cover back on so it doesn't ground out, and then proceed to put these 2 bolts connected to these 2 spots on the frame, which are these 8mm. You'll probably need a wrench because they're going to be hard to get to. I'm not going to show you that, but come back after that's done. Alright, now that you got your 2 starter bolts back there, which I did show on camera, frankly, because they're a pain in the ass, and you'll find out. My 9 viewers that watch my videos will figure this out very fast. That's why I didn't show it. Here goes. This covers installation now. Make sure you put this gear on. And again, make sure the 2 gears align right there and turn. And then you can put your cover in place. So you're gonna want to take it and align it, and it should slide right back over the starter. I'm about to get a little nudge. Go over the 2 gaskets. There we go. Fits flush. Put all your bolts back in. And I'll tighten one up and then I'll show you what to do with that other cover real fast. And that'll be it. Oh man. Let's see here. Alright, one is tightened up. Now, back to this assembly. Make sure you put your key in this keyway. I usually put this in first. Boom. Doesn't move. Gear slides on. This back gear will align with this gear will align with the starter gear, so you'll feel them both click in. That one didn't get the back gear, so let's pull it back off and turn this gear a little bit and see. Alright, sorry my video turned off. I'm running out of video, so I will do this as fast as possible. Go, and then put this cover back on and put all your bolts back in and you're done. So thank you. Alright guys, I'm back. I had to delete a couple of things on my video. Poor people problems. Here we go. I left the bolts out that are the longer bolts just to help you. So it's this one, the one back here, this one, so these three, 1, 2, 3 should be the long ones that you have. All the rest of them are the short ones. I figured that would help you out a little bit. If you can't get it back together from here, then you probably don't need to be working on motorcycles, but I'll just tell you, put your clutch cable on, reconnect your battery, and if this helped you, press the like and subscribe button so I could get 10 subscribers instead of 9. Be awesome. I really like to get this video to 7 views. Be pretty awesome. So if this helped you out in any way, shape, or form, let's get this thing to 7 views. And if you don't like the video, don't write some 3-hour paragraph how you don't like the video. You could suck it. I really don't care. So just suck it. And to my 3 followers, here you go. Have a great day and a Merry Christmas.